Reading The Tale of Genji as part of Benjamin McEvoy's Hardcore Literature Book Club. This is a translation by Royal Tyler, which is a beautiful Penguin Classics Deluxe edition with the rough decal edges, and it's full of illustrations and great feeling paper and really nice typeface. Beautiful book. And there's another translation which I've got by Dennis Washburn. Why have I got two? Well, I started reading it yesterday and I found the translation, the Tyler translation, to be challenging. It's quite hard to follow, and just chapter 1, so it's like 18 pages or something. And in Benjamin's introductory lecture, he does say that he finds the Washburn to be a little bit easier for first-time readers to get a handle on. It's a very dense and disparate story, so I thought I would do what I normally do and get another translation to read alongside. Also because I'm going to be travelling quite a bit and I want to be reading 20 pages a day, and I don't want to be carrying this big chunker. Same as my War and Peace, which isn't there. I've put it on the shelf, but that's another chunker. So I've got it on Kindle, and this is the Washburn translation. And I've just been reading the Washburn and comparing it to the Tyler, and I thought I would read a section which stood out to me as being a particularly good example of the differences in the translations. So this is chapter 1, page 7 of the Tyler, and it's just after Genji's mother has died, and we get this piece of writing. At dusk, one blustery and suddenly chilly autumn day, His Majesty, assailed more than ever by memories, dispatched the gentlewoman dubbed Yugei no Myōbu to his love's home. Then, after she had left under a beautiful evening moon, he lapsed again into reverie. He felt her there beside him, just as she had always been on evenings like this, when he had called for music, and when her touch on her instrument, or her least word to him, had been so much her own, except that he would have preferred even to this vivid dream her simple reality in the dark. Right, now let's check that in the Washburn. The winds of autumn were stirring, the dusk air suddenly began to chill the skin, and the Emperor, lost in his memories, grew increasingly melancholy. One evening he sent a lady-in-waiting, Yugei no Myōbu, the daughter of an archer in the palace guard, to the house where the young prince was staying. The moon that night was exquisite, and having sent the woman on her way, His Majesty was soon lost in a reverie. He had always arranged for some form of entertainment with music and poetry on just such spectacular evenings as this. He conjured phantom images of playing the koto together with his lost love, and recalled the special feeling and artistry of her performance. He remembered her way of speaking, so seemingly natural and unforced, and her looks and bearing so superior to the others. These images clung to him, bringing to mind the old verse that claimed reality in the darkness was no better than dreams. How wrong that poet was, he thought. There is no substitute for her real presence here in the dark. So they're both very different, aren't they? I'm not able to check the original. I don't speak Japanese, so that's not possible. There's a lot more in the Washburn. For instance, it says that Yugei no Myōbu is the daughter of an archer in the palace guard. We don't get that in the Tyler. It mentions an instrument in the Tyler, but in the Washburn it mentions that the instrument is a koto, which is a nice detail. I don't know what a koto is, but now I can go and look it up. I couldn't have done that had I been reading only the Tyler. And yeah, I quite like the poetry of the last line. how wrong that poet was, he thought. There is no substitute for her real presence here in the dark. So I think it's worthwhile having both. Certainly worthwhile having a Kindle version for travel. And it's also worthwhile having the manga, which I bought yesterday. This helps me to understand the opening, and I'm not a manga guy. I've never read manga in my life, actually. But it's fun. Once I'd learned that it goes from back to front, and I was wondering why I had to swipe the wrong way to go through the story, and even the panels, you have to read from right to left. So beware of that if you're going to get the manga. It's not available in physical format, it's only available as digital, so you'll have to get it on Kindle if you want to do that. So yeah, this is just me on chapter 1, and I mean, this one I think is 1120 pages. I think the Washburn's something like 1300 plus, so it's 200 plus pages more. So I mean, we get an example there of just in one paragraph that there are more words in that translation. And this is just such a thing of beauty. You know, I'm going to enjoy having this open as I read both translations and take my time. I'm not going to be able to finish it by the end of June, which is what the timeline is for the book club. May, June. So I just need to accept that and take it slow. Otherwise, I start to feel overwhelmed and like I can't catch up. Nobody needs that. I actually wrote about that in my pages this morning, about how that feeling of being overwhelmed isn't real, it's self-imposed. There are no consequences to my not finishing a book along with everybody else. As long as I'm reading it and enjoying it, that's the main thing, isn't it? So, if you want to read along, join Benjamin's book club. It's just starting now, so it's a good time to get in if you want to read along. His introductory lecture, I think, is public on YouTube. If it is, I'll put a link down below. You can watch his lecture where he goes through the story, the history of the book, some of the translations that are available, what his recommendations are. Highly recommended. And already the comment thread on his Patreon is worth its weight in gold. So yeah, another plug obviously for Benjamin, because Hardcore Literature Book Club is really good. So thanks for watching this one. I've no doubt I'll be back again reporting some more on A Tale of Genji. I mean, look at that spine. How could you not love a book like this? Eh? Remarkable. Thanks folks, see you later. Bye.